6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, everyone. It went off mute. It did it. It did it tonight. Welcome back to Through Black and White Eyes for this review of a fantastic win yesterday. Before we get into that, we'll just jump into the chat and then I'll bring Ian in and we'll do the usual stuff. There's the link if you want to become a member. Honestly, I can't stress enough. The more members we have, the more the channel can run and the bigger the prizes get. It's as simple as that. Super chats are available in the bottom right-hand corner. If you want to hit that button, it really does mean a lot. Evening, Roger, Chairs, and Roger having a nice little chat together. Don't forget about our amazing sponsors. Code Baz20 to get 20% off with Diet Crow. The stuff is amazing. They do loads of stuff on the website, so please check them out. And Football Prizes, who are giving away £100 a month to this channel on their website to win amazing prizes like this Nick Pope t-shirt that will be drawn tomorrow night on your 199 tickets available. So please consider buying some tickets and helping them out. Link is in the description. We've got Janet back in the chat again. Great to see you, Janet. After the draw, we'll talk about that later. But let's bring Ian in for his professional opinion on the result. So good evening, Ian.
Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm good. It didn't go on mute. It came off. I was buzzing. I was just hovering over it, waiting for it not to move, and it moved. I was just like, yay. Does my head in. Leslie's in the house as well. So we're here. Obviously, it was the FA Cup. It's a special tournament. I remember having my first taste of Wembley when Rob Lee scored the header and we got beat off Chelsea and absolutely robbed 2-1 that day. But I love the FA Cup. The FA Cup's it's just been one of those competitions I've always wanted us to win since I was a kid. What are your memories of the FA Cup itself? What's your best memory?
Well, the FA
There's
Cup,
not many good ones, is there?
but not for Newcastle United, but obviously with me playing at Northern League level and semi-professional. I mean, our FA Cup starts in August.
You got like 13, 14 games before you get to the third round or something.
It's ridiculous. And now what they do is they tend to kind of localize the ties, just because obviously finances, clubs haven't got as much finance as what they had back in the day. And I mean, I remember we played Accrington Stanley at Concert, and in the first qualifying round. And I mean, wow. And it just goes like these smaller clubs like Trafford and teams like that are going through the ranks. Spennymoor, I mean, Spennymoor at the time were absolutely fantastic as well. And I played Gateshead in an FA Cup game, Spenny in an FA Cup game. But I mean, these teams back in the day were absolutely like massive, you know what I mean, at our level. Yeah. And so it's kind of obviously the further you progress at a non-league level, it's such a massive achievement because you play that many games. So
and the money for the clubs is huge, isn't it? It keeps them running.
It does. But Newcastle side, it's another one of them where if you're lucky to win 2 rounds and to go on to win an FA Cup, you've had a successful run. That's how poor we've been. So hopefully this is the start of something that keep your fingers crossed that this will start to go on these cup runs, what the bigger clubs go on, because it's long may it continue, because hopefully it'll be a more enjoyable ride than what has been of past doom and glooms in the FA Cup.
Hell yes. So we are here. Obviously, the result yesterday was fantastic. It's a first away win since Sheffield United, isn't it? That's how long ago it was since we won a game away from home. Keeping a clean sheet as well. We're going to go into some potential tactics that we use to keep the clean sheet and why the result is more important than the performance. But we'll look at the teams. So Fulham made 7 changes from Thursday night, and I was so confident when I heard that. But Jesus, but those changes didn't really fluster them at all. They were superb. For ourselves, we almost got the team right. I mean, it almost picks itself. But Miggy was ill, and Eddie Howe has come out and said he is definitely ill. But is he? He says he definitely is. So Murphy had to come straight in, which for him, for being out for so long, I know it was his shoulder, doesn't affect your legs and all this sort of stuff, but it's still, a lot to ask somebody who's been out for so long to come in straight from the bounce. What did you make of the team? Did you just expect that, especially with Miggy being missing? Looking at the bench as well, there's not really. I mean, Tino was branded around a little bit of an option to play on the right wing. He obviously sat on the bench instead. So, were you happy to see Murphy come in straight away?
I mean, we said on the build-up, obviously, goes if Miggy's going into the RVI, I said potentially instead of the transfer going out, he could be potentially ill. Sorry, not injured. The ill one for me, it raises a question mark.
It does, doesn't it? Especially
the way Eddie Howe put it across before the game. When he was asked the question, it was he kind of sniggered in a way, which was not like Eddie Howe, because normally he's dead cool. And it was the same when he was brought up about Lascelles. He was struck between a calf and a hamstring injury, which I received numerous of messages to say he's absolutely telling lies there, and that's the first time where I think the smoke screen had been pulled across his eyes. But with the team, again, if you look at his press conference on Friday, he kind of said Murphy was going to be. Well, I was confident Murphy was going to be the one that was definitely going to be in the squad.
Yeah. We knew he was going to be in the squad, didn't we? He was the only one. Everyone was saying Wilson's off because he's not in the squad. That was a load of bollocks. Eddie Howe specifically said, Murphy was the only one who was going to be available, didn't he?
So again, I think he's tried Livramento there in a previous game, and it just didn't seem to work at all. So I can see that, and it'll probably be put in place before the game. He'll play about an hour, and then he'll come off. So it was the best possibility, the best team we could have put out on the night without a shadow of
circumstances.
Yeah. And obviously the benches, it is what it is. Again, it's you couldn't do anything else. So that, like we said, the team automatically picks itself for the players that we've got available.
You're absolutely right. It was a fast start. I mean, both teams were going at it, and after 5 minutes, we should have really been ahead. I mean, it was our high press that was doing it. The high press was working, and then it wasn't working. But for the first 5 minutes, it was working very well. They made a mistake. They were trying to pass the ball out from the back. Murphy somehow got a gift given to him. He was 17 yards out inside the box just to keep it to beat. He tries to side-foot it past him, and the keeper stood tall. It's hit his arm, and he saved it. It's gone out for a corner. But that was it. I mean, if it had fallen maybe 30 minutes into the game, I think Murphy scores it quite easily. But because it's his first game back, 5 minutes into the game, he's a little bit cold, making excuses for him. But he really should have scored, shouldn't he?
Oh, it was a glorious chance. And you could see the intent. You could see the intent the way it was started straight from kickoff. You could see we're going to play on that front foot with that high press, and we're forcing earlier when Longstaff got fouled earlier on. You could tell what we were going to do, and it's just one of them ones where did it fall to the wrong person at the wrong time? Yes, definitely. Because if that was Isak, I think Isak would have slotted that in the bottom corner. But Murphy, again, this is what we spoke about the other time. Murphy frustrates you because he does so much that he does the good stuff. Yeah, he does the graft. He'll do the graft for you all day long. He'll do the easy stuff hard, and sometimes the hard stuff absolutely make it look easy. So it's that frustration level what we get with players. But he hasn't kicked the ball for a long, long time, and it's felt to him. He's got the shot on target. That's the most thing. He's made the keeper work. I know it was straight on. He still made the keeper work. So if he'd blazed it 40 foot over the bar, you could probably turn out and say what on earth was that? He's done the right thing by hitting the target. Probably being a little bit critical of him. He could have scored, should have. Like I say, athletes felt at the wrong person at the wrong time because it was Isaac that's in the bottom corner and we'd be 1-0.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about the game beforehand, and we obviously said that the left-hand side is probably going to be the main threat for Fulham. Willian wasn't playing, so it was the right-hand side. And they absolutely terrorised Dan Burn in that first half, didn't they? I mean, to be honest with you, I think Fulham were much the better team in the first half. But they didn't really pull out any chances, did they? The only one that really stood out for Fulham was it in the second half?
No, it was the first.
It was in the first half, yeah, where it was squared back to the lad. He was about 10 yards out inside the box, and he fires it into the bottom corner. It's past Dubravka. Luckily, he didn't hit it as well as he could have, and he manages to get fingertips to it, pushes it wide, and it was an unbelievable save, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I mean that it started where Bruno was trying to make things happen and he was under pressure.
Yeah,
and it broke down, and then they played the ball outside again to Wilson. It was on the outside, and again Dan Burn was quite kind of in that area where. It was like the Man City one, where he was kind of in between or didn't know where to go. He's pulled it back, and then Nunez has hit that ball on the half turn, mate. And I thought that was in the bottom of the net. I thought it was in. And Dubravka's pulled out an absolute worldly save. I thought it was a fantastic save, mate. To push it away from goal as well. I just thought, do you know what it is? I just thought it was one of them ones where just to keep an eye on to say, you know what it is, Fulham are a threat, and we need to know about the game here. And if it wasn't for Dubravka, we'd be 1-0 down. Fantastic save.
And I mean, it was very, very. And I thought our passing game was off all the way through the first half. I don't think we got into our game plan. I thought we were sloppy. Fulham looked very good going forward, very well organised, knew their game plan. Tete was causing us loads of problems at right back, getting overlapping all the time. And yeah, they didn't really create too much, but we were pretty lucky they didn't have Jimenez on from the start, because he could have been a big factor if he'd been playing from the start, couldn't he?
Yeah, we changed our formation a little bit. We swapped Longstaff over with Miley because it just wasn't working. It just wasn't working at all. So they put Longstaff through the left-hand side, which made us look a lot more solider. But again, there was the fullbacks kept coming on from deep. I mean, Robinson's a good defender, like I said.
Robinson was brilliant.
Yeah, it's one I tend to look at it quite a bit, and at times for him last night he got up and down and got into good areas, but his final ball let him down. But it was just kind of we were looking like we were kind of grew. I mean, we were looking like we were kind of growing in confidence a little bit, but it was a very, very just a lackluster first 40 minutes into a game. 40 minutes into a game of football where it just looked like so many players just weren't at it. I mean, obviously Shaw got booked within the first 10 minutes. Yeah.
I mean, that was coming together, wasn't it? That was one where you think he's not deliberately done that, they're both running across each other and his leg gets stuck there. You can't, I mean, as a professional, or semi-professional, you've seen that happen a lot of times. There's nothing you can do, is there, to get out of the way? But
you always get booked. It's just,
I know.
It's just crazy. One of the, it just looks worse than because you're chasing and it basically looks like you pulled him down, or fouled him. It's just what it is. But I mean, like I say, I thought the change of formation done us the world of good. We looked a little bit better. The half was going on, and obviously we scored at a very, very crucial time of the game on 40 minutes.
Yeah, we'll come to that very, very soon. I'll tell you another player who I was very impressed with, and you pointed him out beforehand when we were talking the other night, and it was Harry Wilson.
Yeah.
Very, very good player who was left. I know he didn't get a great rating and he had to go off injured because it looked like he hurt his shoulder, but I thought Wilson, when he was on the ball, He was always looking inside. He was always looking dangerous, and I was very worried about him.
Yeah, he's a lovely tidy little footballer. He just probes around in them areas where he's constantly wanting to hurt you. He doesn't just accept that he'll just get by and play. He always looks to play on the front foot. He always looks to play on the shoulder with the ball, and that's dangerous. So I think he's a lovely, tidy little footballer, mate. He is. He's a good player. Yeah,
and Reid as well. Harrison Reid, the number 6, I thought he played really well. I thought the two of them together had a very good understanding in the middle of the park, and I was quite surprised at how good they were together.
Yeah, they just kept things ticking along. And also the centre-half that's been out for a while, and all Ream, I thought he kind of controlled the back four. When you're playing with one up and we haven't got good possession of the ball, it makes their centre-halves have that time on the ball, which suited them at times. Because they weren't constantly under pressure. But overall, I thought some of the players, they've done all right. You could see which ones were the standout players in a poor first half.
Yeah, definitely. Bruno, get a 2-game ban for his next yellow. I honestly don't know where he is with bans, but if Bruno's banned, we're in fucking big trouble. Right. So Sean Longstaff, the hero of the moment in the first half, comes from a corner, and it's a well-worked corner, and we've used this corner tactic before, haven't we? And I remember Brentford a couple of seasons ago and beat them 5-1. That springs to mind, where the player 1-2 and then they drop it deep to Trippier, who then flings it to the back post. And instead of Bruno being there this time, it was Dan Burn who heads it back across. There's a lot of kerfuffling going on. The ball bounces up and hits Bruno on the hand, but his hand's right next to his chest. And then it just falls perfectly for Sean Longstaff to swing his left foot at it. And it was a great finish. I don't think people realise how tough that finish is, because he kept it down. He could have hit that into row Z very easily, which he's done plenty of times before. But it must be those goals that he's wearing on his feet that have made the difference. It's those adverts and those new boots, I'm telling you. It was a great strike, great finish. The one thing that I didn't realise, though, because as soon as I saw it, I went, VAR is going to rule that out. There's a handball there because it's an attacking player hitting his hand and we've gained an advantage from it. Now, I didn't know the rule was that it's only a handball if it's the attacker who actually scores the goal. So I didn't know that, and I was buzzing when it was given, and someone told me that. I was like, get in. There's nothing wrong with it then. Had it hit Sean Longstaff's hand and then he volleyed it in, it would have been ruled out. But because it hit Bruno accidentally, and his arms were in a natural position, it's a perfectly good goal. And what a finish!
Yeah. When I've looked back at the goal as well, I mean, Sean Longstaff takes the corner.
Yeah.
He plays it into Murphy, drops it into Trippier, and then obviously, like you said, Trippier whips the one to the back stick. And the good thing about it is Sean Longstaff just drifts in and nobody picks him up, because everybody's watching phase two of it, where Dan Burns headed it back across, and then everybody's worrying about the next ball, but nobody actually, like, if you watch it back, nobody watches Sean Longstaff just creep in. So when it does break down, he's there, and it's a great left foot volley at the bottom corner. When I seen the handball, the first words were, that is never a handball in my life, because he's that close, and I mean, how can his arms are by his side, he doesn't move them.
Nope, doesn't move towards the ball or anything like that. Just hits him, doesn't it?
Yeah, that was never ever going to be given as a handball in my eyes. Great finish, and a really, really good time to score just before half time.
It was.
Really,
and the other good thing about the goal as well from Sean Longstaff is that how he controlled it so well is he was coming back towards it. So you had to come back around it before he hit it as well. And that is such a difficult skill to nail. And I mean, I've hit a lot of volleys in my time, and then they've all gone heads and volleys, points in the park. You all know your body shape's got to be right, and his was perfect. And it's nice for Sean Longstaff because he has got into great opportunities, hasn't he, in previous games? Blared them over the bar, so it was nice to see him keep that down and smash it in the net. His next yellow gets him a ban. Oh, for fuck's sake, that's not good. So that means he'll be playing against Villa. He'll probably get a yellow card against Villa, then he'll be missing the next game, which is Luton at home, I think.
Luton at home, yeah.
And again, I would say that would be the one you'd want him to miss at home, but you don't, because Luton have been fantastic recently.
You're just going to have to accept that it sounds horrible, this though.
Mm.
He probably needs to get that yellow card as soon as possible because it's always going to be on him. So
yeah,
gets that yellow card against Aston Villa, which will probably be a lot faster game. It's more, like you said, potentially going to get one, so he will miss Luton, but then he resets again. Then he's got another 5 games to just do what he does before he gets another. Hope I don't know if it's 5 or it goes beyond that. I'm not sure, but he needs
10. I thought normally goes to 10 again. Then you get another ban, 2-game ban or something like that.
Yeah, so that'll be, like I say, get it over and done with because it's just going to be hanging over his shoulder. Like you just said there, though, it'll be better against Luton at home. But I mean, there's no good time to get him banned.
No,
there's no good time. But like I say, it's going to be hanging over his shoulder for a while, so you may as well hopefully get this over and done with.
Yes, I mean the only thing is we never won a game without Bruno in it.
No, I mean, but to be fair, until Saturday we hadn't won a game since we beat 10 men Fulham anyway. So it's been a long time. So
it's hard.
You know, we've got to get this winning momentum going again. And if that's with Bruno, just for one game, we're going to have to do it.
Yeah, too much ban for 10 yellow cards. I thought it was.
That's worse. So.
Yeah, even worse. So Fulham made some tactical substitutions. They brought Willian on at half-time for Harry Wilson. I suppose it's not really tactical. He was injured. He had to go off. But when Willian came on, I thought, this is going to be a very different second half. And I think he could see the tactics change from Fulham. They still use the right-hand side, but they were using the left a lot because Willian is a fantastic player. And he also, let's go back to the first half because we have actually missed a talking. I mean, it's not much of a talking point. He was offside, wasn't he, Murphy? But he took the finish very well. It was a shame because they played that high line and Isak slipped it through nicely for him, but he was about, 2 yards offside?
Yeah, I mean, Isak was doing that brilliantly all through that first half where he was just coming deep, picking that ball and drawing centre halves in. I think his feet work now is starting to look like the Isak of getting back to his best way. He looks ever so sharp. He's looking great. I just wish he would do it more in the effective areas rather than like in a deeper area. But I mean, the turn's great. I mean, unfortunately, doesn't time his run properly. But this is what Murphy did. He grew a little bit in confidence going into the game, getting that little bit of rustiness out. To be fair, it was a cracking finish.
It was, wasn't it? Banged it in the bottom corner.
I mean, when it first happened, I said offside straight away, and I was just. But to be fair, he done everything what you should have asked for. He's took it on, great touches, and braided it in the bottom corner. So that was, it was offside. He was 2 yards off.
Yeah, I said as soon as the ball was played, that's offside. And I thought, the linesman's kept his flag down. Yeah, he's obviously going to let us see how it goes. And when he scored, I kind of jumped up and then I sat down and realised again, it's going to be offside. And it clearly was. So a bit of wasted energy on that one.
Yeah.
But going into half-time, the stats, 55% to Fulham, 45% to Newcastle. I was a bit surprised we had 45% because I thought our passing was just massively off in that first half. Too many sloppy passes, too many wrong decisions as well. That was the one thing that frustrated me the most last night, Ian, in the first half especially, is whenever I saw a lot of players turning into trouble when they could have played an easier pass. And that really frustrated me the most. Yeah,
Bruno, first half, he as much as you can be critical, but what he's trying to make things happen and he's trying to get on things. But in tight areas, have you noticed when games are tight, they just crowd him out because they know he's the most influential. So they'll try and stop him playing. But I mean, Gordon was exactly the same mind. He would get it wide within when he's got no body on him. He'll take them touches and then go inside where there's traffic again. And there was time he just lost it, and then we got counter-attacked. It was a really, really frustrating first half. But I was
very hard watch.
Yeah, I was over the moon to go in 1-0.
Yeah, and it's a very tight pitch as well, Fulham. I think a lot of people forget that. Obviously, St James's Park is bigger. The pitch is bigger. We couldn't stretch them as much as we would have liked to have. They had 8 shots. We had 4 shots. They only had 1 shot on target, which was that great save from Dubravka. And that's why I said, I mean, as good as Fulham were in that first half and the way they passed the ball around and looked like they were going to carve us open at any given opportunity, they only had 1 meaningful shot on target, and that was it. So we had 3. They had 4 shots off target, 1 off target. I want to go to where's the passing? This surprised me because they had 238 passes and we had 206. So we weren't that far behind them, and we were poor.
Yeah, I mean, our possession and our passing's normally up there with the top, and it was just we. I mean, obviously against your Man Cities and your Liverpools and that, we don't seem to have that because they are a superior passing side. But when we've got teams where we dictate the play, our passing are normally way beyond other teams because we're that comfortable in possession. But last night it was just, especially first off, it was like you've said, we make wrong decisions. We'll just play balls into areas, even when we're playing into tight areas. We'll just that first pass wasn't right, the touch wasn't right. Then it became scruffy. It just was disjointed. It just didn't seem to flow at all.
Yeah, I agree. So second half obviously was a very, very dangerous second half. Willian scores a goal that's offside. Thank fuck, because it was a great finish and it was a great little move when he pulled it back to him and he smashed it in the top corner. I was like, thank God that flag went up.
It was tight as well because it was a tight offside. And Dickover, he just went down that side and he played it. He tell you what it is, the finish from William. You're on about Longstaff's finish. That one with his weaker foot was tremendous, by the way.
Yeah, it was.
But I thought even Dubravka, they mustn't have.
He went for it, didn't he? He tried to save it and he got nowhere near it.
I was just about to say that he didn't dive for that, knowing that was offside, or he would just stood still. So that was a fantastic finish, and luckily it was offside, so it was tight.
Yeah, definitely. And again, Fulham were huffing and puffing. You know, Jimenez comes on, ducks under one. My God, if he got his head on that one, I don't know what he was doing when the cross came in. They also brung Carney on after 65 minutes. I thought he made a bit of a difference.
Massive difference.
But they were able to make 5 substitutes last night, and you could see the difference it makes with the fresh legs. And they also brung quality on. They brung Paulinho on, they brung Tossan on, they brung Jimenez on and Carney on, and winning at half time. It's just like great, and we bring Kraft on.
Yeah, it was because like on the preview show to the game, the teams that we look back at, these are the players that were rested to bring on. So that was like that was their strongest team coming off the bench. So it just, like you said, it goes to show how the strength, comparing the two sides to what's available, their strength and depth is far superior than ours because what we've got available on our bench. And Kearney came on and just, like I said, he makes things tick. He's a good footballer, plays on the front foot, really good footballer. And Paulinho he's one of these ones that does the shit, gets about the park, does the scruffy things well. So it's a combination that works quite well.
Yeah, definitely. But we end up getting the second goal against the run of play, and it really was against the run of play. We managed to win a corner. I kept on saying on the live streams, every time I got a corner, you've just got to beat Diop because they haven't got anything else in the air that could really threaten us or really handle our big men. And the ball gets flung to the back post. Botman, free header. Should have scored himself, to be fair, but he gets it on target. He does the right thing. He heads it low. The keeper spills it, and Dan Burn, 2 yards out, slams it home. I thought for a second he thought he was offside, so I sort of celebrated and stopped because he didn't run away and celebrate. He just stood there and went like that, didn't he? I was like, is it counting? Is it not? And I was right in front of the away fans as well, which was even better. And everyone jumps on him. And as soon as that second goal went in, I just felt relief, knowing that we would, defend the lead, to be fair.
I mean, it's scoring goals at the right time to knock the stuffing out your opponent. We scored at the right time just before half time. He'd have went in and tried to regroup. Obviously, he's made his substitutions. He's had a one to sell out for offside. They were growing into the game, and then we've got the corner. Great ball in from Trippier. Fantastic header, and obviously a goal, Poacher's goal from Dan Burn. And it's probably what it was. We just went, God almighty. Against the run of play, and then they've just sucker punched us again, and it does knock the stuffing out here. Good time to score. Really good.
I mean, we made a tactical, so I thought it was tactical substitution on 75 minutes when he brung Tino Livramento on for Murphy. And the reason why I say it was not just because of Murphy coming back, it was also tactical because he switched Gordon to the right wing, knowing that our left-hand side was being punished quite a lot. So you had two defensive players to cope with that side. And it seemed to work quite well when Tino came on and Dan Burn. They didn't get round us as fast as what they were doing.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Oh, 1,000,000%. And I think Gordon, I think he'll look better. It's once we get Harvey Barnes back on that side, firing on that left-hand side, I think you'll see a better Anthony Gordon coming down this one, where he gets around the outside of players and he can get them balls across, because when he's on the other side, like I said, he keeps coming back into traffic. When he tell you what it is, when he gets away from players and he opens his legs, he looks fantastic. But for balance, for me, down that right hand side, I think we'll see the best of Anthony Gordon, who I thought last night, when he got to about 60 minutes, was absolutely pagged. And if we didn't have, if we had more on the bench, I think he would have been a one to come off.
I agree.
That's the situation where we're in at the minute, where you've got players that are running beyond their means because we can't take them off. So when you're fatigued, he's just getting through them extra minutes where he could be resting and be absolutely super sharp for the next game. Hence, Kieran Trippier's playing through a groin injury that he's had for a long time, and this is what happens.
I mean, I thought Trips we're going to come to him later on, actually, yeah. But there's another thing that was really frustrating in the game. We also mentioned it in the first half, as the passing. It also came into the second half as well. There was times when Isak was making great runs through the middle. He had a gap, but nobody could find him with a pass. And it was so frustrating to watch. And there was times when Bruno was turning into trouble, just play it out wide. It wasn't until the 75th minute, when we were 2-0 up, did we actually start to look like the old Newcastle again, when we were passing the ball around and we were opening them up a little bit more. It's just, we need to see that for a longer period.
See, it's for me as well, it's frustrating for Isak, where when your front three is constantly pressing, but Isak will always make them runs where he wants to go between your centre-halves and down the sides, and he kind of gets ignored because I think we're one-track minded of just press, and if we've got it, we're going to do certain things, and we never seem to, unless Bruno's up there when we've got good possession, you hardly see them little balls down the sides, where again, if you've got a very creative footballer either on the pitch or on the bench to change things, that's when them passes become. Look at Kevin De Bruyne. Look at your top teams, where you can bring them off, where things aren't. You've got things aren't working. Right, what we're going to do? We're going to play little ones in behind, or you see gaps where things are opening. We can't do that because, again, it goes down to our strength and depth of what we've got availability.
Yeah,
but I was frustrated for Isak last night because I thought again he looked sharp.
Yeah.
When he comes inside and just gets away from his feet is fantastically quick. And like I say, I'd love to see him do that constantly on a persistent basis further up the pitch around the 18-yard box. I think he'll be absolutely untouchable.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. His feet are so fast. But again, like I say, I was quite confident we were going to see the game out at the end. There was a Jimenez header that just went over the bar, which I thought he should have done better. There's one he ducked under. Robertson had a shot that hit the side netting. But other than that, I mean, Dubravka hardly had to make a save. So it was a great win in the end, a great clean sheet. I think Eddie Howe, regardless of the performance, was very happy with how the defence handled everything in front of them. There were times, again, where there was that gap between the free and the defence, though, where people were getting into the hole. And I think in the second half, I think I said on the live stream, I said, look, someone needs to sit as a 6 because it's happening too many times in the second half. But we seem to get it right bringing Tino on. It just shows that he does have a plan B. He has a plan C. He moves things around. Other people don't see it. We did yesterday. And it's just fantastic to get that win, really, isn't it? It's nice to win when you play badly.
Yeah, it was a frustrating watch, but at the end of the day, it was with a clean sheet.
Yeah,
that's a massive plus up, because we've, especially away from home, even though if it's a cup, to get a clean sheet and to progress into a cup that he's taken serious. It's a game plan that's worked. I mean, he even opened up his cell and said that the performance was far from great, but we just had to do things to get us over the line, which we did. I mean, I've seen a lot of people be really, really negative about certain players, which really frustrates the life out of me, because there's certain players that they're talking about are our best players.
There was a Twitter account that's just quite big, and I was very shocked because of after what happened with Bruno the last time. At half time, he said, "Rate Bruno's performance."
Yeah.
Why? Why do that in the middle of a game? We've already pissed him off once on social media. Why try and piss him off again?
Do you know what it is? That's probably up there with one of Bruno's worst performances. He didn't hide. Do you know what? It's one of his worst.
No, he didn't. He kept going.
Yeah, it's one of his worst performances, right? But it's simply because his levels, what he plays at, when it drops, it stands out like a sore thumb to me.
Yes.
You can go two ways in a footballer, right? You can have a terrible game and just go hiding and not even be interested and just drift about and just get subbed off. He still wants to get on. He still wants to take the ball in tight areas. But when it breaks down, people are quick to jump on him because the areas where he's normally so good in tight areas, that's where he draws players in. And when it works, it allows us to have so much space to play in and counteract.
Look at the Fulham game, the home one, the way he dragged 3 players out of position and Miley scored.
Yeah,
because he took the ball in a tight area, didn't he?
Yeah, and he does that all over the pitch, mind. And when it, like I say, when it breaks down, it looks bad. So to his own standards, he knows he's probably had a poorer game what he normally does. But I mean, you can pick a load of players last night. Actually, Fab Shaw wasn't his consistent
no, his passing was poor out of the back at times.
Last night, and I think Sven Botman pulled him out the shit a few times last night with his positional play. I thought he led the line fantastically last night. Sven Botman, his recovering tackles were good. He's looking to be back to his fitness, his good fit self. I mean, like I say, Sean Longstaff, when he was on the right hand side, I thought he was appalling. Until he switched. I mean, again, confidence off the goal, but when he went on that left hand side, I thought he played miles better. Anthony Gordon was, in my eyes, was poor. Didn't do enough. So you can go, not just you point your finger at one, like certain players. You've got to look at it collectively and have a look and see it. Do you know how it is to get a result like that away from home and so many players not being at it?
Shows the battling qualities, doesn't it?
Yeah, and do you know what it is? It just shows you what a result that is. When you haven't played that well and you've come away with a clean sheet and you've actually came a win and won 2-0 without them really creating anything.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Here was the stats at the end of the game then. So we still had 8 shots, 6 on target. They only had 2 out of 14 shots, which just shows you how well we do. I know Botman got a good block in on one in the second half as well. They had 9 off target. We only had 1 off target. So it just shows you we're back to our consistency levels. We always, sometimes we didn't have enough shots on target, but we were always scoring 2 or 3 because we were consistently hitting the ball in the back of the net, which is what you want. You can see the passes were down. I mean, it's not often team out passes us unless it's Man City. We missed a clear-cut chance, which is obviously Murphy's. They missed 2, which were Jimenez. For me, they had more corners, which I was, they absolutely battered us at one point. But we defended so brilliantly well; it was mental. We've got to talk about this. The crowd, and Alan Shearer was there, first time since 1985. He was in the away crowd, absolutely loving it. The fans were singing his name. What I want to know though is how you accrued all those away points to get a ticket.
Well, you know the answer. All his goals.
I love it. It's great to see him in the crowd, wasn't it? It was fantastic, and the crowd were superb all the way through the game, weren't they? They were just the mental selves again, which was fantastic to see. I don't agree with how the away ticketing system's been changed. I kind of agree with it a little bit because it gives more people a chance to potentially get their points up, because a lot of people have just been buying tickets and then selling them on to keep their points up to go to the games they want to go to, which is sort of an unfair closed market. But obviously the real fans were down there yesterday, weren't they? And to be fair to them, no way of getting home either, unless it was coaches, taxis or cars or whatever they did, because there was no trains.
Exactly. And I mean, the fact to spend that extra just to stop over when things were changed at the last minute. I mean, I know they had a little bit of a boycott about their ticketing prices at home as well. So apparently a few of them stayed away. I don't think Fulham's the most vocal club anyway. So for a full away allocation, I mean, we were loud last night and it was a pleasure to hear. From start to finish. So many old songs sang last night as well. Not just Shearer, all the old classics were coming out, Colaccini. So it was good. I mean, the away fans they've been getting a lot of stick, actually, saying that it's been the worst away end they've been in for years. This, that, and the other. So if you were there last night, I'm sure it would have been an absolutely enjoyable experience.
And hats off to you all for going down there and doing it, because I couldn't afford to do it, but it's amazing that we still get that massive support that does go down there on a difficult night at 7 o'clock on a Saturday. Very hard to get back home. So congratulations to the away fans for the performance they put in as well.
Yeah, and do you know what it is? I would say a large percentage of them are going to be travelling again to Aston Villa as well.
Yes, on Tuesday night. Yeah.
Do you know what? It's a massive effort from us. So big up respect for the whole lot of them.
And to Liam as well, whose bus broke down. He had to jump in a taxi, the poor guy. But they got there and they obviously enjoyed themselves. And I think they got to see Shearer as well, which is amazing. It's great to see this as well. We haven't seen one of these for a while. It just shows you how shit the Fulham away changing room is, because that is very tight to get everyone in that picture. But it's great to have those back again. I know the fume of the rest of the Premier League absolutely hate it. Ian, it's a different show talking about stuff like that, mate. We really are just reviewing the game tonight. We could be here all night talking about stuff like that. But it's great to see them. Now, Dan Burn got man of the match. Now, personally, I thought Dan Burn grew an extra inch after he scored. I thought he got terrorised before then. So I was a bit surprised he got man of the match. But his stats, he did get an 8.4 on Sofa score, which is a very, very good score. He was well ahead of everybody else, but that's because he scored a goal. And he did put in some monster recovery tackles. But I found them mostly happened after he scored. He just seemed to grow an inch with that goal.
I mean, the first 5-10 minutes, I mean, it was, again, Wilson so tidy and clever, pulling him into areas where he's uncomfortable, and it's shown many games where if you get pulled in there, he's found wanting. But, I mean, I sent you a message about the left back brigade and that.
Yes.
For me, I thought he was solid, and I think because I think they've got a little bit of a bad taste in the mouth with Dan Burn, certainly because he's quality side. But if you look of how many times when balls came in, how many times he headed it away, how many times he stopped crosses, how many times, do you know what it is? He made runs going forward as well. I think he learns from his early mistakes, but sometimes early mistakes could be absolutely crucial, and we could get from them. I think the tweaking formation helped them, by the way. For me, overall, I just thought because for me, it was an easy man of the match to pick, because so many of our top players had off games.
Well, this is his stats. I mean, this will tell you why he was so good. So 9 clearances.
Well,
that's massive.
Yeah, a lot of them.
Yeah, 3 interceptions, 4 tackles.
Yeah,
his passing was only 74%, which is not great. Ground duels won 5 out of 7. Aerial duels won 4 out of 4.
Yeah.
And shots on target obviously won. And he actually did 1 dribble and got past his player once. So that's why he got an 8.3 score, which literally is a full point ahead of everybody else. Everyone was like 7.1, 7.2. So Dan Burn sort of deserves it on the stats-wise of things, but I thought he deserved it more after he scored the goal and the performance he was putting in, because some of the clearances and last-ditch tackles and making sure we weren't getting screwed down that right-hand side like we were, he was brilliant after that.
Yeah, I think as well, them two tackles, what he's missed was probably in the first half, where he got torn inside out.
Yeah.
But again, in my eyes, he's for balance, for strength, and the first time where we've had to rely on him for his height to be defensively solid, right? And he's played a massive part in that last night. Him and Dubravka and Botman, massive parts in keeping that clean sheet, and that's what we want. You can't criticise him for what he does going forward, right? Because that's not in his game. But if you want him to put his head on the line, if you want to be defensively strong, like the stats have said there, you can't ask anything more from Dan Burn.
You're absolutely brilliant. Was he your man of the match, or would you have picked somebody else?
Well, I said Dan. Well, that's why I said the left back brigade, because again, it was. I just thought consistently. I just thought he'd done things right, and when he was needed to be defended upon, I thought he was the best out of the back four. And obviously with the goal, you know, it's a poacher's goal. He was in the right area at the right time.
Oh, yeah,
he drifted in read the situation well, which was good. But like I say, there were so many other players that just weren't at their best for it to go. Because normally, when you're looking at a man of the match, you always look at your Brunos and you always look at your Isaks, you always look at Gordons, your flair players, because they make things happen and stand out. But for you look where things haven't been right, and we haven't ticked along, but we've gotten a result. Where does them best players fall into place? And you've got to look at your back four, because we've kept a clean sheet. And what happens? And I just thought pick of the bunch was Dan Burn.
Yeah, it was like having the band back together, wasn't it? At the back, when we were not playing well, but we were scrapping, we were last-ditch defending and keeping everything out.
I mean, we discussed this on Friday when people's on about should we bring Tino back in or should we do this, that, the other, and obviously we're both agreed on, because without the exception of Nick Pope, we were so consistent last year of keeping clean sheets, especially away from home, and getting brilliant results with that back four. And when we've been conceding so many goals, he's got to revert to type and go, right, I've got to go back to what was successful last season, and that's been Botman, Shaw, and Trippier. And again, when things are right, that back four looks really, really solid. And then when things happen in front of us, with your Brunos and your Longstaffs, and obviously when Joe Linton's playing, things kind of going in the right direction. But most importantly, keeping clean sheets gives you a massive platform in a game to get something out of.
Yeah, and it was great to see Dubravka keep a clean sheet for him as well, because he's been overly criticised for letting in so many goals, even though he's put in great performances. Liverpool, Man City, you know, he put in man of the match performances almost, especially against Liverpool. But we ended up losing the game 4-2. I just felt so sorry for him. So it's great for him. But we've got to talk about this man as well, Trippier. Obviously, there's a lot of speculation going on, and he really has put all that to rest, hasn't he? He never wanted to leave. I think Bayern, had they got a bid accepted, I think it might have turned Trippier's head, but he was happy to stay. And his performance last night as well, it's a shame he had to come off. We'll have to keep an eye on that and find out how long he's out for, or if he is out. But I thought he was excellent as well. I thought he mopped up on things. He didn't put a foot wrong, to be honest with you. There was no out-of-place passes. He was back to his best. Yeah,
I think the first 10 minutes, I thought Tripp started a little bit shaky. And then I thought he grew right into the game, and I thought he controlled it well. And again, this is where we've had this conversation about him going to Bayern. And then everybody was going, yeah, it's fine, we'll bring Tino into there. But what like we said, what you don't get off Tino Livramento is quality from set players, organisation. Look at the corner. He's just when things aren't going right, you need top players to stand up and just have that little bit of brilliance where you can put an absolutely fantastic ball in. Where, no disrespect to Tino, I don't think he could do that. So Trippier was up there with the but apart from Shea, which was a little bit shaky, I thought the rest of the back four were all very, very good last night.
Yeah, I think Shea was a bit shaky because I don't know if I'm making excuses up for him, but I just thought with it being such a tight ground, he wasn't able to get that time on the ball like he's normally used to be able to spray his passes. I thought Fulham were on him all the time, and I think they knew that Shaw lacks a little bit of pace, and they thought that with their high press, which they did very well through the whole game, they could target him when he was on the ball.
Yeah, I mean, when we have good possession with Shaw on the ball, we tend to make the pitch as big as possible, especially at home. Botman will spread, Trippier will spread, so it just allows Shaw to just drift around. Have you noticed last night, Shaw very, very rarely picked that ball up and strided forward?
Yeah, very rare. I don't think he did at all, actually, to be fair.
Simply because the space wasn't there. They made that midfield so compact. And that, again, they must have knew if they make that midfield compact with Bruno, you're going to stop him. You're going to stop because Botman steps in there as well. You're going to stop your midfielders stepping in, and then because there's times where Shaw steps in and then plays that diagonal or plays that lovely pass. was just none of that last night. It was just dead congested and frustrating.
We tried the diagonal quite a lot, but very poor
No,
balls out from the back.
Yeah.
Dan Burn is the new Peter Crouch. I wish he could hit a ball like Peter Crouch. Gizaravian. I think the TV must be on, is it?
No, the TV's on. The TV's on. The back.
You can see the colour changing. It's quite funny.
I've got Sky Sports News on there.
I love it. Trips says no one deserves more praises from fans after yesterday's game. We tend to dwell on his negative games as fans. But I think that's just the fan base in general, especially on Twitter. They always look at the crap rather than looking at the good. And the average was good last night for us because we were that poor. But we stood up. We stood our ground. We made it difficult for Fulham to get past us. And we did what we needed to do to win, and that's all that matters. And the draw, what do you think? This is what it looks like. Obviously, we've got Blackburn or Wrexham. We could end up on Netflix, or we could end up back at Shearer's old stomping ground where he won the Premier League. There's some interesting ties in there. Chelsea, Villa, Leeds, Plymouth, potentially. Bournemouth, Leicester could be a tough one. I think Liverpool have got an easy tie, a home game again. Manchester United away to Forest or Bristol City. I mean, they got a scare tonight, even though they won 4-2 in the end. Wolves against Brighton, I think that's a tough game. And I tell you what, if Coventry get through Sheffield Wednesday, which I think they will, that's a massive tie for Maidstone. I felt a bit sorry for them, though. They didn't get a bigger tie.
Yeah.
The work. I think they wanted Newcastle. They wanted St James's Park because they wanted to come for the weekend, didn't they? I'll tell you what, Man City away to Luton. I think that one will be on TV as well. I think that could be a potential upset.
Yeah, I got the last one right, didn't I, on the show about the upset. I'm gonna go if Leeds get through. I think Leeds. I'm going to go Leeds to cause an upset between Chelsea, Aston Villa. There you go. If they get through.
Oh, that is one. Any other? I mean, what do you make of our tie? Who would you prefer to have, Blackburn or Wrexham?
Well, I don't think Blackburn are in the best of form at the minute. And Wrexham, it's a one of them ones where it can go either way. Just like where they've given Maidstone give. Newport give Man United a real scare today. They were 2-2 just after half time, but everybody will think it's going to be Blackburn. And for me, like I've said, message you. For me, it's not a couple of Boxing Days. I've come away from there and thought, oh my God, what a day out down there. And if you look back at the past previous fixtures down there, I think we've won a Carabao Cup down there.
I was there when Owen scored 2 and Shearer scored 1. We beat them 3-1.
Yeah, I'm sure the last one might have been a Carabao Cup, if I remember rightly. I think we've got him in a replay. So it's a favourable draw in my eyes, and it's a one where we should progress if we turn up and do well of either of the teams. So,
I mean, the draw could have been a lot worse, couldn't it? Obviously, I said it's another way draw.
Yeah,
God, man, what's going on? But then when you look at the teams that are still in it, Chelsea, Villa, Liverpool, Brighton, Man City, Man United, you don't want to be getting them away from home, do you? So to be fair, the draw has been sort of kind to us.
Yeah.
We can get past this one and then get a home draw against Sheffield Wednesday, Coventry or Maidstone. We're laughing, aren't we?
I mean, look at this Bournemouth, Leicester as well. I mean, there's 2 teams you definitely wanted to be avoided. I mean, Leicester's flying. Obviously, Bournemouth, we haven't, especially away. I mean, do you know what I mean? You know, it's one of them ones where you just think, oh, none of them. So potentially one of them going out as well. You know, so there's plenty of teams out there that potentially could be. Brighton Wolves, there's another Premiership fixture.
Yeah, another Premiership team going to go out.
So, you know, if things go right, would be favourable, we could progress easily.
It's getting exciting a little bit, isn't it?
And I know there's no replays. There's no replays in the 5th round anyway, is there? So I'm sure I'm sure it goes straight extra time with penalties.
No, I didn't know that. I thought they still do the replays.
No, because I'm sure with these are all midweek fixtures. I'm sure they'll go straight to extra time and penalties.
I don't like that. I would like to. Yeah, we don't want to be doing that. We just want to be comfortably putting them away like we did Fulham. Fingers crossed. Right, that's the end of the show. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. We've covered everything. Wrexham do have a little superhero, though. We don't want to... I mean, go on. We'll just quickly talk about that one again. If we get Wrexham away, it's a long trip. It's a midweek. That is the dodgier fixture for me than Blackburn, even though Blackburn are a better team.
Well, it's a massive banana skin, isn't it? The
330 miles away or something like that, is it?
But again, it's the ground where our players just won't be familiar with something so close to the pitch. I mean, Luton. We struggle at Luton. Imagine going to Wrexham.
Massively.
You know, we'll probably struggle at Wrexham.
Yeah.
So I'd rather have Blackburn. But I mean, I hate the place for me, so it's going to be. I think it'll be tough. As long as we get through, I'm not bothered. Anyway,
I don't drive, mate. Thank you, Baz and Ian. Thanks for everyone watching. Please hit the likes on the way out. Thanks, Baz and Ian. Thanks, chatters. Please hit the likes and all that sort of stuff. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. Don't forget about our amazing sponsors. I keep mentioning it, but $40 a giveaway every month. And there's £100 from football prizes. All the links in the description. This can be won on Tuesday night by a lucky. The draw closes on Tuesday night. It's drawn on Wednesday or live on Facebook. Just reminding myself, I've got to do a quick draw because the person on Twitter hasn't claimed the prize for some strange reason. So I'm going to have to do the draw again. This is for the Toondle one. You get to win £25 gift cards on football prizes. So good luck, everyone. There's the spin. Forgot I needed to do this and then you forgot. Terrible. Guy Dummett is the winner. So we will contact you on Twitter and you can claim your £25. I'll be in touch with football prizes tomorrow and they will be able to give you that 25 quid and hopefully you can enter the Nick Port one or whatever you want to enter. And I've contacted the Facebook person and then I might have to do another prize draw tomorrow. We'll be live tomorrow. Ian's going to be available as well to talk about the Villa game. And we might have to do a prize draw then because no one's come forward for the other prizes either. It's like 90 quid just going to waste. It's terrible. But thanks for watching, everyone. And we'll see you again very, very soon. Take care till then.